Hello everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2020 horror war film Ghosts of War. A film that is written and directed by Bress, and it stars Brendan Thwaites, Kyle Gallner, Alan Ritchson, Theo Rossi, Skylar Astin and Billy Zane. Now this film is set in the Second World War, and it follows a platoon of soldiers as they are assigned to hold a French chateau. When they get there, they find that the American soldiers that were there beforehand are in a real rush to get out of that place, and they soon realise why, because the building may be haunted, and it all begins to escalate from there, and the team become in real danger very, very quickly. Now, Ghosts of War. This is a film I've been aware of for a while. Now, the reason why I've wanted to watch this, certainly recently, is this has made the top 10 list of Leo over at Geek Legion of Doom and Lisa over at Lisa Loves. It's made their top 10 favourite films of the year. Now, I trust both their opinions on movies, so I thought I'd better check this movie out because I missed it in 2020. And I've got to say, I can understand why this film is so popular. I did enjoy it very, very much. I don't think it's just maybe as good as I was hoping for, but maybe because my expectations were built up a little bit too much. I did really enjoy this film. It's a really nicely made film with good performances. They cast the film really well. It's very, very creepy at times, very authentically scary at times, but also mirrors as a good war film too. So they get an awful lot right here. It's got a good production values behind it. The shootouts all look really, really good. The explosions, the effects for the ghostly things that are going on are all good. They're all timed really nicely. You get some effective jump scares here and there. I would have liked a little bit more character development, I guess. I think it's fair to say for some of the characters. At times things were happening and you struggled really to care about some of the characters. And I think later on you do get a little bit more character development when they're talking about horrific things that happened to them in the war and things like that. Brendan Thwaites is a good young actor. We've seen him in quite a few things, and he does a decent enough job here. I just don't think he pulled off the authority figure here. He's essentially in charge of this platoon, and he never really felt like he was in charge of this platoon, if that makes sense. But it was nicely put together. Now, there is a twist that takes place in this film that you'll either love or you won't care for, really. And I'm not going to say anything about the twist because obviously that would spoil things quite a lot. But it does come as a bit of a surprise. My feelings on the twist and the ending a little bit mixed. I thought it was quite a clever way to make things make sense in the film, which I did appreciate. But I can understand why someone might watch this and maybe click the brain off when the twist takes place. But if you take the time to absorb it and take it all in, I think it was probably a sensible thing to do, and it did make sense. And they tried to do something a little bit different with a ghost story, I suppose you could say. Thought the film looked great cinematography for the most part here in the film. It really did look nice and polished, good production values. It's the sort of film that, you know, could have been released at a cinema. It probably wouldn't have done brilliantly well, but it looks that good and the performances are that good throughout. It's certainly better than some of the bloody Blumhouse stuff that's being churned out these days that is substandard for the most part. I would take this film any day over things like Fantasy Island and some of the other stuff that Blumhouse are churning out. So I can understand why some people are blowing a little bit hot and cold with this film, I think it does really, really well. It's a good war film first, and it's a good ghost horror story second, and they blend those two really nicely together. It's not an easy thing to do, and they do that here. It's got good direction. I would have, like I said, just preferred to see a little bit more character development for some of these characters here. Billy Zane is more of a cameo really in the film, but I did appreciate his presence. Not necessarily his German at the beginning of the film, but his presence was much appreciated. I thought he added a little bit something to the film. It does feel a little bit, I'm trying to think of the right word here. When you see some of the things that happen, it's the classic "they won't let us leave" scenario. So when they leave, you know, they're almost in this loop that always ends up taking them back to the house, sort of thing. And we've seen that trope done quite a few times in horror stroke ghost stories, I suppose you could say. So yeah, I'm glad I saw this film. I'm not sure it would have just made my top 10 favourite films of the year, but I can understand why. Certainly those in the horror community would definitely appreciate this film. I like it when films try and do things a little bit differently. I like it when films take risks, and this certainly does that, and I did appreciate it for doing it. So all that said and done, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. It's a film I do recommend you checking out, and it is definitely worth watching, not just for those of horror fans, but for fans of film in general. And I certainly am glad I did so. So that is my review for Ghosts of War. I hope you liked it. Thank you very much for watching. And of course I will be back, as always, with plenty more content in 2021 on Screen Stars. Thanks for watching, everybody. You take care.